by HR Legend
This
and
meeting is being recorded.
sponsored by Talentbeep. So I'm the host for today. Actually, I'm the co-host for today, and my name is Mariam Akif, and I'm currently working with Akal AI. That is how it is being pronounced in Gora style, whereas we are originally Akal AI. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give a short briefing about the HR Legends, which is an inspirational platform founded by Mr. Ghulam Mustafa in 2017, with the purpose of providing number of opportunities to its members or increasing their learning and growth through knowledge sharing, seminars, and practices. So, proceeding further with it, I would like to thank you all once again for taking the time to join us today as we are about to fearlessly talk about the HR challenges in the tech industry and, yes, of course, the way forward to it. So, I would like to welcome our guest speakers as well, Mr. Khurram Rana, Mr. Anas Ahmed, Ms. Sidra Anwar, and Ms. Nida Mohammed. Here I want to add that we are going to have a 1 hour session, and after that we'll make sure to get the questions from the participants as well and the audiences. And for that purpose, we are almost in a way to help you as best as we can, and we have a chat box to source your questions. But definitely, I would request the participants to wait for the questions. Answers. So, Mr. Asif, I would like to call you to proceed further with the discussion panel. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Mariam. Thank you very much. Let me share a brief introduction about our panelists today. I'll start with my introduction. My name is Asif. I have been a part of the HR fraternity for 17 years now. I have been working with the retail industry, with manufacturing, and now I have been a part of the tech industry for last 4 years almost. My expertise include policy making, organizational development, policy writing, SOPs definition, performance management systems, and all recruitment, talent management, training and development programs, and everything like that. Uh, I think that's enough about me. Let me start. First of all, welcome Mr. Khurram Rana. Khurram Rana is the AVP of HR in I2C Incorporated. Khurram bhai, welcome. And
Thank you
please
very much. Jamil.
share a couple of words about yourself.
Thank you, Asif bhai. That's kind of you. As you've said, I'm working at I2C right now. Been here for about 6 years. I have almost 2 decades of experience in human resources now, spreading over
Wow.
technology, manufacturing, logistics, F&B, and so on. So, I've been around, and I think in my own words, the best thing about HR is, any industry you go to, it's a whole new challenge to learn and apply different things. So I think that's about all I can say for myself. Thank you.
Perfectly agreed, Khurram bhai. And of course, I can proudly say that I have listened to you so many times, and I myself have learned a lot from you. My second panelist today is Anas Ahmed, who is the VP of Vice President of HR with Venture Drive. He's our participant from Karachi. Anas bhai, welcome to the forum, and I would like to hear a couple of words from you about yourself.
Thank you, Asif. Thanks, everyone, and welcome. My name is Anas. I am heading HR for Venture Dive. It's been about 4 years that I've been with Venture Dive. I was previously associated with Shell for about 4 years. Before that, I was with Telenor and Ufone. So I've been around in the telecom industry, oil and gas, oil and energy, and now the tech industry. So overall, I've been in the HR industry for almost 2 decades. It's been 18 years now, and yeah, so far so good. Looking forward to have this conversation.
That's nice, Anas. Thank you very much. Next up, we have with us as a panelist Sidra Anwar, and with a very unique designation. Sidra is a Senior Manager, Human Assets in DevSync. Sidra is a wonderful colleague. I had a lot of interaction with her over a period of time, but of course, I would like to hear something about yourself from you, Sidra.
Thank you so much, Asif, for introducing me. Thank you so much, Ghulam Mustafa, for this opportunity. And it's very nice to see you all today here. I'm Sidra Anwar, currently working with DevZinc. It's a US-based emerging company with human assets of 750 plus right now. I'm working there as Senior Manager Human Assets. Yes, this title is pretty unique. We call our people here not resources, but our assets, because we firmly believe that resource is something जिसको आप एक बार use करते हो और वो खत्म हो जाता है, obsolete होता है. But when you say your people assets are something, when you invest something, तो वो over the time develop होता है. So that's why we call our people assets, and our department's name is Human Assets, not HR. So my designation is Senior Manager Human Assets here. Other than that, I am associated with tech industry from last 7 to 8 years, and I have served in human resource and explored multiple domains of HR, mainly talent acquisition, employee engagement, compensation and benefits, appraisals, and of course the compliance and talent development. Besides that, I have been teaching as well. I taught at NCBA for 2 years as a visiting faculty, and mainly I taught their subjects of HR and management. So yeah, this is pretty much about me, and very nice to see you all.
That's very nice to hear. And it's really refreshing that DevSync feels about not as a human resource, but as human assets. Last but not the least, we have with us Nida Muhammad, who is the group head of Crescent Technology. Nida, we would really like to hear something about yourself. Nida, can you hear me?
Asif, I think there is some connectivity issue at her side because she's on mute, but still we cannot hear her.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right. So let's move towards the very first question that we have. As soon as Nida joins back, we'll definitely get her involved in the discussion immediately. All right. The very first question that I have sorted out, although this is something that has been discussed a lot of times in the past on multiple forums, but honestly, I cannot get enough of it. The question is, what are the challenges that are being faced by the tech industry on the HR front? I would really request all of you one by one, starting with Khurram, just a brief in just 2 to 3 minutes, what do you think are the major challenges that are being faced by the HR industry on by the tech industry on the HR front? Khurram bhai, please.
Thank you. I think what's happened, and we're all very well aware of it, in the recent times post-COVID, or rather during COVID, a lot of the international focus for outsourcing of work shifted from some of the countries like India and so on to Pakistan. And while we were aware of the talent here, I think for the international market, it was a surprising thing, like, whoa, wow, there's so many talented people in Pakistan. Suddenly there's this influx of remote work. And besides what we already know, I'll also share the fact I met with a couple of the chairpersons and deans at different universities, especially related to the technical side, in the last couple of weeks. And an alarming thing that I got to find out from them was, just like for us, we have kids who have 1 year, 1.5 year experience, and they would rather work from home remotely, getting US dollars. Similarly, there's an influx of freelancing work taken on by university students who are still to graduate. There'll be Aadha unka course hua hai, and they have started taking freelancing work, and that has resulted in their grades falling. So in terms of their academic achievement, that's falling. Their final year projects are scoring low, and that's become a challenge for the professors as well. For us, on the other hand, it's become more of a challenge, because not only are we talking about them being paid in dollars and our employees being paid in rupees, but also the fact that for every company, the employees are paying taxes in Pakistan. And for the people who are doing this kind of work, which comes under the ambit of freelancing, they're not paying taxes. So not only are they getting US dollars, they're also getting them tax free, which makes it rather lucrative and obviously poses a challenge that we need to address and need to find creative solutions to.
Right. Anas, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, thanks. I think Khurram covered a couple of points. I will just add a few points. One on the freelancing side. Another dimension to the freelancing part is obviously Pakistan is one of the biggest markets when it comes to freelancing. And as an HR professional, people who are running companies, what challenge that poses is that whole lot of freelancers is off the market. So the rest of the companies are left with a smaller pool of talent, and they have to compete for that talent. So the industry and the talent battle has really heated up. So that's one. Number two, obviously, where post COVID, the remote work has investment coming in, then I guess your major need is talent rather than money is not a problem. So that I think really, creates a problem in the market when it comes to competitive sort of compensation for other companies, and they have to follow suit. And part of that is some people getting tax-free salaries, but I don't think that's just one part of it. But overall, I think compensation is playing a big part. And number three is, I think, the flexibility. Although a lot of companies have adjusted that, they're looking at, they're offering flexible work. For example, Venture Dive, where we started our flexible work 2 years ago. We still haven't gone back to work. As you can see, I'm still working from home. So yeah, I think that's the way of the future. And now when we talk to candidates, some of the candidates upfront, tell us that they want to work remotely. That's their preference, and they don't want to come to the office. And that's something we have to adjust as employers. So all of these things, while they're pros and cons to both sides, the only thing that I think overall as a country, we were not ready for this boom that we're getting, whether it's universities, it's education, upskilling. We should be, that's basically, I think, what we're lacking. We have to really step up our game in terms of increasing this talent pool. That's the only solution.
Sidra, looking for,
I think Khurram and Anas has pretty much covered the whole area. These are the main challenges I would say every HR professional is facing in the tech industry. I would like to further add on the part of the gap between demand. I think roughly every year, almost a few thousand engineers passed out from all the engineering universities of the Pakistan. On the other hand, startup culture is on the boom, and the talent need is a lot in the industry. So I think we need to come up with the strategies that are no more traditional. For example, upskilling and starting the program to actually upskill the people who are non-tech to the non-tech sector. So these are few of the strategies that are really very much needed to bridge up this gap that is there in the industry. And other than that, definitely the freelancing culture that has been there, people are earning in dollars, and it's too difficult for every HR professional to agree them and to bring them in the company on the local currency. So to bridge up this gap, the only thing that I can see is that produce more engineers, produce with the programs, boot camps, and the culture in the companies, and bridge up the gap between the academia and between the tech companies, of course.
Right. Thank you very much for the insight, Sidra. Nida, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Now I can hear you. Before I was unable.
Yeah, I would really request you to start with your slight introduction, and then what do you think about the challenges that the IT industry is facing on the HR front right now.
So I'm working as a group HR head at Crescent Technologies right now. We are a group of companies. We have a software house named Evolve. We are one of the biggest e-commerce agencies of Pakistan. Basically, we are into e-commerce as well. So a lot of my hiring right now is digital media, IT and tech roles, development, and all these kind of roles. Plus, I'm also working with a Swedish company. I'm working with them as a technical recruiter. I've been there since the last 2 years. So we recruit for IT people in Pakistan, but this is for companies in Sweden, right? So you can say I'm like doing both. I'm hiring tech talent in Pakistan for companies in Pakistan, and we're talking about companies who employ from Pakistan. Of course, they pay a lot. They pay in dollars or SEKs or any other currency. So there's a huge difference when I'm hiring for, if I'm hiring, let's say, for a Java developer, but that Java developer is for a Swedish company. So I would pay that person like what? I would offer him $15 an hour. And my candidate pool increases so much. But when I'm Crescent Technologies, I cannot offer that kind of money, and my candidate pool literally boils down from like 20 people to maybe 2 people. And then the best thing is that when we schedule interviews of 10 people, only 1 person shows up. I think that's the biggest challenge. The problem with our IT and tech guys is that the industry is relatively young, and our workforce is even younger, right? We are dealing with most of the developers when you go into Android and iOS especially. They are like 20, 21, 22, 3-year-olds, 24-year-olds, freshly graduated, who have, so much opportunity right now. 8 saal ke baad, they ask for the kind of money that people previously with 5 years experience were not asking, right? So one of the biggest challenges is that filtered, you've shortlisted, you have called, then they don't show up for interviews. And okay, so the second option is to go for virtual interviews. My concern is how many companies in Pakistan are open to going for virtual interviews or work from home options. I feel that for the IT and tech industry, we need to be more flexible. We need to provide them with options that are flexible because they're getting those options from outside Pakistan, right? Whatever opportunities they're getting from outside, it's all work from home and it's all premium salaries, That's not salaries that we offer in Pakistan. Most of companies in Pakistan don't. So I feel if I list down challenges, so first will be थोड़ा सा जो हमारे फाइनल ईयर में आते हैं सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग के या सीएस के बच्चे if in the final semester उनको fix with respect to professionalism, I think it is very important that they are taught those because there is a lot of job hopping. There are companies who are sometimes investing in their certifications and stuff, but that becomes challenging even for companies and for HR persons to convince an employer to get them those opportunities because there's so much job hopping, right? So job hopping is there. Plus another challenge is that we have a very limited talent pool. Our fresh graduate, if we have a batch of let's say 30 people in one class, us fresh graduates ka jo the batch we have. So we need to somehow align industry with the corporate with academia, especially when it boils down to the IT sector. Some kind of trainings maybe for the last 2 semester students. It's more, see that you can have a degree, but you don't know anything. You're not a developer. So that is also a challenge. Plus the salaries are a challenge. Reason is that if it was only local market, and salaries the developers are asking, we really can't manage that in Pakistan. So the hiring, I think the most difficult hiring is for a human resource professional is in IT, as far as I think Pakistan goes. Then comes second, I think. So that's a separate topic, but I think social media marketing, like hiring is also very tough. That's digital, but let's stick to it.
Right. Thank you, Nida. Thank you very much. After this discussion, हम लोग अगर ये कह सकें कि right now जो हमारे top of the line challenge है, that is the difference in the pay scale, क्योंकि freelancing की market तो इस वक्त सबके लिए open है. तो डिफरेंस इन पे स्केल जो है वो हमारे लिए एक चैलेंज बना हुआ है कि वंस एन एम्प्लॉई, अगर कोई भी बच्चा जो है हमारा, जब डायरेक्टली डॉलर्स में उसको पे मिलती है, एक तो वो टैक्सेशन नहीं होती है, दूसरा जो कंपनी का मार्जिन होता है वो बीच में से वो निकल जाता है और वो सारा उस बच्चे को डायरेक्टली मिल रहा होता है. बट आई वुड रियली लाइक टू नो द व्यूज ऑफ फ्रॉम खुरम भाई कि एक और जो चीज जो नजर आती है कि बहुत सारी कंपनीज ऐसी हैं जो फ्रीलांसिंग पोर्टल्स के ऊपर एजेंसीज हैं और वो लोग प्रेफर करते हैं रजिस्टर्ड कंपनीज के साथ काम विद इंडिविजुअल डेवलपर्स, कि वो जो छोटे छोटे डेवलपर्स अपने अपने घर में बैठे हुए हैं और वो थोड़ा सा काम करते हैं, वो महीने के $1000 या $2000 या $2500 अपने महीने के कमा लेते हैं और वो अपना डे टू डे बेसिकली मंथ टू मंथ उनका लिविंग चल रहा है. खुरम भाई आप क्या कहते हैं इसके बारे में?
Yeah, that's something interesting that you say. अगर मैं इस पे comment करूं, देखें, कहते हैं you can't eat your cake and have it too. Freelancing opportunities, while they allow you a larger pool of people who can get your work done for a fraction of the cost, at the same time, जो larger companies हैं, proper companies हैं, what do they have to offer? ये वही हिसाब हो गया ना. एंड विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, बात है कि आप बाहर जाते हैं कुछ खरीदने, एक है आपको एक इंडिविजुअल बाहर खड़ा हुआ मिला, उसने कहा जी मैं ये बेच रहा हूँ. अगर आप कल आते हैं, आप कहते हैं जी ये डिफेक्टिव माल निकला, मैंने चेंज करना है, यू डोंट फाइंड द पर्सन देयर. जब आप फ्रीलांसिंग की बात will have, जब वो प्रोजेक्ट देते हैं, इंडिविजुअल होता है, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ प्रोजेक्ट इट इज, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वेटेज कंपनीज गेट एंड द इंडिविजुअल इज गिविंग इट. वो प्रेफर करते हैं कि यार कोई इस तरह का स्टेबल सेटअप हो, कोई ऐसी चीज़ हो कि if we have any issues, so it'll be about after sales service to a great extent, if not anything else. अब उसके अंदर from what I know from the market, there are certain friends, for instance, जिन्होंने you know a while back freelancing पे individually शुरू किया, and over time they build credibility, और अब उन्होंने अपने एक कंपनी की तरह सेटअप कर लिए हैं जहाँ पे all they do is they act like brokers, क्योंकि उनकी वो विजिबिलिटी है, उनका वो रैंकिंग है, उनका वो क्वालिटी मार्क है, तो दे टेक ऑन प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड देन दे सबलेट द प्रोजेक्ट्स टू इंडिविजुअल्स, जो कि अब फ्रीलांसिंग साइट पे जाने के बजाय उनसे प्रोजेक्ट लेते हैं, डिलीवर करते हैं. ऑल दे डू इज, जो अच्छे वाले हैं वो उस पे इंश्योर कर लेते हैं दैट द क्वालिटी इज देयर, एंड देन लेटर ऑन इफ समथिंग हैपेंस विद दैट क्लाइंट. तो आई थिंक दैट्स नॉट अ बैड अप्रोच एट ऑल, अच्छी बात है. ना अभी क्या हो रहा है, there are people who are rushing to the freelancing market, लेकिन what's happening on the side, what do we as companies have to offer? हम all of our companies, I'm sure we all do, हम salary भी देते हैं, we take care of employee needs, health insurance है, life insurance है, OPD है, गाड़ियों की assistance देते हैं, day cares हैं, gyms हैं, खाना जो है वो है. अगर किसी के पास इनमें से कुछ चीजें नहीं है, they give allowances to cater to that. खुद खाना एजेंसी हो जाती है एम्प्लॉय को, तो there are various mechanisms in companies to provide support to those employees.
Exactly.
What I've seen happening in the field, कि आपको US डॉलर मिल गया, you're making a hefty amount, so you let's say making double what you were making in terms of that salary figure, लेकिन जब आप वो बाकी salary के portions हैं, when it comes to that, I've seen some people who got into, let's say घर में कोई बीमार हो गया, कोई emergency पड़ गई, हो गया या कोई ऐसी जरूरत पड़ गई, and they suddenly find themselves cash strapped, and then they have nowhere to go to. People, that's a huge thing. For others, especially जो मैं देखा जो younger lot है, fresh graduates, people who are about to graduate, mashallah say these people are full of this is a reasonable risk for them to go, okay, let's explore and see what this is, we'll make good money. Or the same thing about startups. कि startup है अभी future का नहीं पता, exciting, and they want to go and pursue it and see कि ये कहाँ लेके जाता है, as opposed to other people with let's say more responsibilities and less flexibility to go around taking risks, right? So I even for our freelancers कि future जो है that might actually end up being a hybrid of both these models, जहाँ पे हमारी जिस companies जो हैं वो भी इन चीज़ों को ज़हन में रखें कि यार while people are working at a company they might also be doing some side projects online. And while I agree with the panelists as well that our kids that come out must be trained professionally as well on how to manage the ethical and professional side of their work to ensure कि वो एक balance maintain कर सकते हैं दोनों चीज़ों में.
Right. Thank you for the insight, Karan bhai. Definitely बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी थी इसमें जो जिनको मैं was looking forward to that. Next, I would actually like to know from Sidra. DevSync, Sidra, in the last 2 to 3 years, एक rapid growth की तरफ गया है. खास तौर पे your role कंपनी में वर्क फ्रॉम होम पे चल रहा था, तो उस रैपिड ग्रोथ के दौरान वर्क फ्रॉम होम में टीम मैनेजमेंट को लेकर के आपको क्या चैलेंजेस फेस हुए और आप लोगों ने उसको किस तरह मैनेज किया? आई वुड रियली लाइक टू नो दैट.
Okay, I think as an organization and as a professional, what we have realized was that an employee always needs something more than the monetary thing. At the end of the day, कोई भी organization है वो कुछ ना कुछ salary extra दे के आपके employee को retain तो कर लेगी, ले लेगी. But as an organization, what you are giving them extra to your employee कि वो आपके साथ retain रहे even while working remotely, and जो भी model है जिस पे भी वो काम कर रहे हैं during COVID, obviously उनकी कुछ personal challenges भी at the same time. So we started working more on the intrinsic benefits, and we started more plans with our employees. During that time, we made sure that we are having frequent engagements, and we are still working on their career progression. We made sure how we are aligning their growth plans with the company's growth and how we are taking them in the confidence. Because जैसे अभी खुरम ने mention किया है कि there are pros and cons. Freelancing models are very good in short term. They are getting good salaries monetarily, तो वो बहुत beneficial है. But at the end of the day, they are lacking something, and that is the intrinsic value, motivation, their lifestyle needs, and some emotional needs. But at the company part, we made sure that this is the family-like culture. If they are having any problems, company is there to facilitate them. And how company is aligning their everything with their lifestyle needs. Let's say जो भी perks हैं, ये जितने भी खुरम ने बात की है, we are making sure these are available, and that's how we. And they are sold on our mission. Yesterday, we were talking in our meeting that there is a concept of believers. At the end of the day, every company is facing a challenge. If you are having a good engineer, this engineer is good for many other companies. But what you are doing extra, that this engineer is sold with you. And this concept is that you need to make them your believer. You need to give them this confidence that this is your company and we have to work together. And then there is an equity share. We are currently on a model of profit sharing where we are actually, this is a whole compensation model that we are following. So that's how we ensured that people are not just doing a job. This is the company where they are supposed to retire, and this is the company where their progression is leading towards becoming a partner, and this is a company where no nepotism is being followed. कोई किसी का भाई नहीं है, बहन नहीं है. This is a company that is fair to everyone, and keeping them engaged with the mission of the company.
All right. That is something nice, and this is something really important. आज के जिस तरह जनरेशन जेन जी जिसको हम इस वक्त एंगेज करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उनके लिए ट्रांसपेरेंसी, कंपनी के अंदर उनको अपना फ्यूचर एंड एवरीथिंग, वो जब तक उनको क्लियर नहीं होगा, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू स्टे विद द कंपनी। रिटेंशन में एक बहुत बड़ा फीचर जो है वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी अक्रॉस द बोर्ड है, और डेफिनेटली एंगेजमेंट तो है ही है, बट ट्रांसपेरेंसी अक्रॉस द बोर्ड है। मरियम, आई थिंक यू हैव अ क्वेश्चन फॉर अनस।
Gee, Asif, I would really like to know that what's the point of view of Anas on the demand and supply of the resources in the market. If there is anything, जो Anas हमें बताएं that what is happening, और वालों को भी उसके लिए prepare होना चाहिए before time that this is going to happen in Lahore as well.
Yeah, I would like to hear on that also, yes. क्योंकि लाहौर ऑलमोस्ट हर फैक्टर में जो है वो कराची को फॉलो कर रहा होता है.
Exactly.
I mean, that's true, but I think as far when tech is concerned, I think we're all on the same trajectory, the same sort of trajectories being followed across the world, not just in Pakistan or Lahore or Karachi or Peshawar. I think the same aspects हैं जो कि हो रहे हैं. I think obviously we know there's a gap between the supply and demand. This is not just a Pakistan phenomena. This is a global phenomena. And उसके अंदर फिर complications add होती रहती हैं. For example, this Ukraine thing has added this talent crunch because Ukraine was serving a lot of markets and उसकी वजह से बहुत सारी आई. So ये जो in fact affect the supply and demand in the entire world. As far as Pakistan is concerned, the challenges that we are facing are number one, there is a lack of supply that we have. Uski reasons multiple hain. One is because the education system is always behind the curve. So that needs to improve. Number two is that, अभी जिस बूम से इस वक्त IT इंडस्ट्री गुजर रही है उसमें there is not enough time, everybody is in a hurry, there is not enough time to take risks with junior people, with fresh graduates, and give them time to learn and get into the thick of things and become senior. They would rather go with somebody who has already a bunch of experience and they would just go ahead and get the services of that person. So basically every company is looking and not readily available. So there is a time it will come when these fresh grads, universities will catch up, fresh grads will catch up, and then they will become senior resources. So I think wo ek space hai. Right now we're operating in that space. I think we will continue to operate in that space for the next 2 to 3 years at least, before each company sort of comes up with their own academy. They start working with universities. Kuch universities ke, more people are going to come up, and then obviously globally thousands and thousands of people are going to come out in different areas, and then focus with operating remotely throughout the world. So they will have access to talent across the markets, not just in Pakistan. So I think right now where we are in definitely in an employees market that my colleagues raised. Yes, when you are in when the market is heavy on either side, whether it's employees or the employees, they take advantage of that, and that is why employees these days are taking advantage of this fact. There are multiple offers. They join companies, they leave those companies in 6 months, in 3 months, because they're continuing to ride this boom, and they're earning in dollars, tax-free salaries, and for that matter, I think it's to each their own, because you have different phases of your life. Each phase mein aapki priorities different hoti hain. At one point money is important, and another time retirement benefits are more important. So I won't judge people on what kind of choices they have. All I feel is that as employers, the what all the choices and all the variety of choices that people have. So if somebody's more interested in money, we have something to offer them. And if somebody's more interested in benefits, we have something to offer them. But I think the key to this will always be, and has always been, belongingness to the organization. How you create that belongingness in that individual, so that they stick with their organization in the long term. Switching jobs every 6 months, every 8 months, or 1 year. And we need to create that belongingness by offering people something. ये जो benefits and money hai, I think that's table stake. What else are you offering will determine how associated they feel with your company as an individual, and that's what going to determine
Right.
their
So
career.
I would really appreciate the point that you have raised, that we all individual as an employees are the actual brand ambassadors of the company. And we need that affiliation with the company as well. और हमें HR वालों ने ये काम करना होता है कि सबको emotionally attach किया जाए company के साथ by making the policies जिसमें सब खुश और बादशाहत की जिंदगी गुजार सकें. Thank you so much, Anas.
Actually, a very quick comment
Mhm.
though. This is, I think, sort of, we have to break this myth also. It's not just ये जो belongingness है, this culture. This is not just HR's job. This is the entire company's job, because we create as HR professionals, we create policies, but most of the time, who do they spend their time with? It's either with the client, it's either with the line manager, or the job they are doing, right? So the culture, the actual impact that you're going to have will come from whether your people, your leaders, your clients even, they believe in the same mission and the culture that you're trying to produce over there.
Right. Actually, it's a trickle down theory. No? So whatever is on the top is going down at the bottom as well. So thank you, Anas. Thank you very much. It was
That's a
really
wonderful
very
point,
much
Mariam, if I
informative.
may. I wanted to intrude, and I'm sorry if I may
Sure,
have
sure,
just a
sure.
moment. Thank you very much, Anas. I think what you've said really summarizes a lot of things that I was just thinking. So thanks a lot for that. If I may, just wanted to add on, besides the myth, and truly that's something that I'm working on nowadays as well. It's not only HR's job to do that. It's a collective effort, and there are all those. Also, the other thing is, HR for some reason is that mythical creature which people assume to be magical in nature. HR comes or a magical wand यूं की, or things get into place, as was just mentioned about emotional attachments and all. I think we've come to an age now jahan pe, there's no such thing as an emotional attachment. uh, Companies will have to do more in order to ensure that people get attracted to stay there. Just to give you an example, we at I2C, we've got an all year round training program where we're upskilling people, not in only in technical terms, but also in soft terms. But still what happens is you get a new person on board, he trains here for 6 months, and another company startup offers, let's say, double the amount of money because they're saving on the training cost, and a person would leave. So when I do assessments and feedback surveys and all, what I'm thinking of is what else can I do in order to make this workplace more attractive for them. So perhaps a better word than emotional attachment would be about making our workplace more attractive to the younger generation, which is definitely changing in terms of their approach. And maybe we should also change our approach, right? So just wanted to add that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Kuram. I would like to move forward, and I would like to have the views of Nida. What do you think about like hybrid model, and with respect to the challenges we are facing with the flexibility nature of work as well? So how the HR person in any tech industry is going to face this challenge nowadays? Hello, Nida, are you with us?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So the hybrid model, like working from home and working from office, right?
Yes,
At the
exactly.
same time. So the thing is that I'm all in for it. I mean, I think that we should give flexibility and we should introduce hybrid models. And with the help of softwares now, it is very easy to manage all that, Now, virtual teams, there are so many softwares now through which we can, manage the workflow. We can manage the workflow through Airtable, or we can manage it through Monday, or Teamtailor, or any of the other project management tools. आपके monitoring tools भी अब इतने हैं, so it is very easy to manage virtual teams. And I think eventually, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, a lot of companies will be moving to the hybrid model. Outside Pakistan, so many companies have not actually shifted back to work from office. They have stayed at work from home. They just, go to the office once a week. But I feel like in Pakistan right now, maybe the industry is not prepared for it. I feel like maybe the younger entrepreneurs might be inclined towards it. But I think कि जो हमारी the bigger companies and industries, their think tanks are not prepared to go for the hybrid model. That's what I feel.
I can agree with you on those views, Nida. The problem is that जो सबसे बड़ा इंसेंटिव है ना इस वक्त, जैसा कि अभी अनस ने भी कहा, खुरम भाई ने भी बताया, सिद्रा भी बात कर रही थी कि जो एक इंसेंटिव है ना कि इस वक्त जो है ना, मनी इज द मेजर अट्रैक्शन फॉर आवर ग्रेजुएट्स. जो हमारे ग्रेजुएट्स हैं, जो खास तौर पे वो बच्चे जो फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट से लेके 3 साल के एक्सपीरियंस के दरमियान है, उनके लिए जो money, the amount of money they are making every month is the biggest attraction. अब वो हाइब्रिड में क्या हो रहा होता है, वो अपने फ्रीलांस के प्रोजेक्ट्स उन्होंने अलग कर रहे होते हैं, ऑफिस का काम अलग कर रहे होते हैं, एंड दैट एक्चुअली वो ये होता है कि जैसे कि गाड़ी है, अगर गाड़ी का इंजन अगर जरूरत से ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो वो बड़ी जल्दी उसकी परफॉर्मेंस डाउन आनी शुरू हो जाती है, और उसके बाद फिर वो जो है वो परफॉर्मेंस एंड के ऊपर जो है हमारे लिए चैलेंजेस क्रिएट करने शुरू कर देते हैं. तो यस, आई एग्री विद यू कि शायद हम अभी जब तक इन चीजों को रियलाइज नहीं करते, जैसा कि आपने अपने इंट्रोडक्शन में भी कहा था कि प्रोफेशनलिज्म और एथिक्स वगैरह को के ऊपर प्रॉपर हम ट्रेनिंग्स करके इस चीज को वहां पे नहीं लेके आते और अपने जो एम्प्लॉइज हैं उनको रियलाइज नहीं करवाते कि दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज अनप्रोफेशनल और अनएथिकल, तब तक हम इस हाइब्रिड वर्किंग मॉडल के लिए तैयार नहीं है. Right. We only have 14 minutes left in our session. I would really request our host Mustafa Bhai to join in to say something, और उसके बाद फिर हम जो है जो हमारे participant questions हैं हम उनकी तरफ जाते हैं. Mustafa Bhai, please take over.
Okay, guys, thank you very much, Asif, and all other panel members for discussing very important points. What I gauged and understood from this discussion, tech industry is mainly facing major issue in terms of talent attraction. So when it comes to talent attraction, so considering the post-COVID business scenarios and the habits, or you can say the mindset of people, now people are more inclined towards work from home opportunities and freelancing opportunities, rather coming to office and then deploying themselves for like 8 or 9 hours and then staying in office and working. They prefer to work from. That's the challenge when it comes to hiring new talent for your organization. The second challenge in hiring which organizations are facing is the availability of talent in market. That is the number of graduates being produced by universities or education institutes. So that's another challenge when it comes to finding new talent in market. And the third challenge when you try to find new talent is the retention of talent. Obviously, after COVID, everybody has learned this. Everybody has learned how to work in a hybrid manner and how to work from home. So organizations are now ready to adopt work from home strategies. And that's why you can hire people from other countries as well. And I have seen lots of software houses operating in UAE and in Gulf countries. They have hired people from Pakistan and they are getting salary, you can say in dollars or in UAE dirham, but they are working in Pakistan. They are working from their home. but the organization name is like UAE company name. And at the same time, they're also getting some other benefits as well. So what's the solution then? What is how we can cope up with all these things? One thing which is missing, which I have seen, which I discuss mostly with IT professionals, I might be wrong, but I serve as a consultant for like 3-4 software houses. And one thing which they always miss is the talent development. We are more focused on talent acquisition, less focused on talent development. IT industry is less focusing on developing talent within their own organizations. Since they have challenge of retention, they have challenge of finding new talent, so they focus less on retaining the talent by providing them the learning opportunities or the growth opportunities. They focus less on succession planning. Yes, in some organizations, they do have talent management programs in place, but mostly organizations are lacking in it. So if they start working more on talent management schemes or succession planning programs, so I think they can, after some period, they can stop facing the talent acquisition issues, and they will be more planned. Third observation which I have is HR planning part. Mostly I have seen it's missing. It's more like you can say the reactive approach than the proactive approach. So if any organization is more into proactive approach, they will have to go to proactive approach rather going for reactive approach. Means के project मिलेगा तो talent hunt होगा, talent फिर in place होगा. So maybe when they have gone into the you can say bidding process, and they can see in the bidding process they are at stage 3 or 4 and they are near to get the project, so they can start finding talent for them. अच्छा, एक चीज मैं और जो मैं लाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, for which I will try to do a survey, and also I will try to get a number of companies on board as well. That is, we should not offer or we should not contact any candidate who has less than 1 year experience with any employer. For example, if somebody has joined me today and he has worked with me for like 3-4 months, so what we are doing, we are as an industry, we are exploiting each other. अब हमें पर चूंकि project मिल जाता है, so we have to fill the vacancy, so we try to fill vacancy as soon as possible. So we don't see कि ये जिस organization से आएगा उसका काम भी सफर होगा. So we just look at ourselves. We don't look at the industry. So as an industry, maturity बहुत ज़रूरी है. हम लोग आपस में agree करें कि जिस candidate का 1 साल से कम उस employer के साथ experience है, हमें उसको interview के लिए invite नहीं करना चाहिए. I don't know practically ये possible है, ethically ये nice sound करता है नहीं करता. So something like this, these kind of arrangements will have to be made. I remember I used to work with Netso Technologies back in 2003-4, और उस वक्त पाकिस्तान में यकदम IT का बहुत ज़्यादा स्कोप डेवलप हुआ, बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोजेक्ट्स आने शुरू हुए, और उस वक्त तो खैर अभी स्टार्टअप का कॉन्सेप्ट भी नहीं था. उस वक्त एक मेन बड़े बड़े सॉफ्टवेयर हाउसेस का कॉन्सेप्ट था, क्योंकि फ्रीलांसिंग की जो टर्म है अभी वो यूज़ नहीं होना शुरू हुई थी. तो आई रिमेंबर कि सडनली जो टैलेंट क्रंच पाकिस्तान में आया, और फिर टैलेंट ने बेसिकली प्रॉब्लम ये नहीं होती कि टैलेंट का राइट है कि वो आपके साथ अपना वो निगोशिएट करे ऑन सैलरी एंड एवरीथिंग, बट द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट कि हम लोग डील करें इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स को. अब उस इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स की डीलिंग में अगर टैलेंट हमें ब्लैकमेल करना शुरू कर देता है, तो उससे हमारा इमेज एज ए कंट्री खराब होता है. तो वी आर एट स्टेक, not the organization, not Anas, not Khurram Rana, not Sidra, not Mariam, not Ghulam Mustafa, not HR Legends, but Pakistan is at stake. And if any problem comes in any project, तो image जो tarnish होता है वो country level पर होता है. तो I think at ministry level we need to make some kind of arrangements, and we have to talk at senior level as well कि we need reforms of HR in Pakistan. कि yes, there should be some benefits for employees, but at the same time there are some rights of employer as well, which is lacking right now. Right now employee can leave anytime, employer cannot do anything. Similarly, employer can do anything, employee cannot do anything. तो फिर दोनों अपने राइट्स को when they get an opportunity they exercise it. So maybe some legalization is required, some documentation is required. So when we talk about the developed nations like US, शेख हक साहब भी इन्होंने काफी कमेंट्स किए, मैं अभी इनसे रिक्वेस्ट भी करूंगा कि ये अगर ये आए, we can open his mic as well, he can share his point of view. So these kind of arrangements we have to make, and inshallah on from the platform of HR Legends हमने पिछले 3 साल जो काम किया वो ज्यादा हमने टैलेंट को प्रमोट करने के अंदर काम किया, हमने टैलेंट को डेवलप करने के ऊपर काम किया। अब फ्यूचर में हमारा जो फोकस होगा वो हमारा होगा कि हम लोग एजेंसीज के, गवर्नमेंट के इदारों से बात करें एज ए फोरम कि वी शुड ब्रिंग रिफॉर्म्स। हमारा मकसद फोरम का सिर्फ ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि हम 4 लोग इकट्ठे हों, हम नाश्ता करें, हम खाना खाएं, हम अच्छी अच्छी बातें करें और उसके बाद हम डिस्पर्स हो जाएं, एंड दैट्स इट। वी शुड कम अप विद सम काइंड ऑफ सॉल्यूशंस फॉर इंडस्ट्री, फॉर आवर कंट्री। तो हमें कुछ उसके लिए हो सकता है हमें कुछ नए कोर्सेज डिजाइन करने पड़े। मैं अक्सर बात करता हूँ कि सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री में प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स के ऊपर कितनी ट्रेनिंग्स कराई जाती हैं। वी जस्ट हायर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स एंड वी जस्ट आस्क देम कि वो काम करें और वो चले जाएं। हाँ, ये है कि हम लोग उनको ट्रिप पे ले जाते हैं, लेकिन हाउ मच टाइम आर वी स्पेंडिंग ऑन डेवलपमेंट ऑफ देयर सॉफ्ट स्किल्स? आई थिंक दिस एरिया हैज अ लॉट ऑफ गैप। तो ये 3-4 एरियाज मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के मुताबिक हैं जो मैंने आप जो विजडम आज हमारा इकट्ठा हुआ, माशाल्लाह हमारे पास 50 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है। अगर हम सबका एवरेज एक्सपीरियंस 10-10 साल भी लगाएं तो इस वक्त 50 साल का एक्सपीरियंस बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे माशाल्लाह। तो इस एक्सपीरियंस को हम लोग अगर करें किसी राइट स्ट्रैटेजी के ऊपर डायरेक्शन पे लाएं तो ओवरऑल हम लोग इंडस्ट्री को डेवलप कर सकते हैं और जो चैलेंजेस हैं उनको हम लोग कोप अप कर सकते हैं। इफ यू लुक एट द प्रोडक्शन सेटअप तो उसमें आप देखें लेबर के कितने राइट्स हैं, यूनियन है, लेबर
I
के
think your voice is
I
lost,
think,
Mustafa.
okay, Mustafa, I think you're on mute.
okay, let me check, maybe my internet. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes.
you're audible.
Yes, we
Mustafa
can
bhai,
hear.
thank you
So-
for
so
such
let
an
me-
enlightening discussion. I would request आपके पास अगर हमारे ऑडियंस में से कोई क्वेश्चंस हैं जो हमारे पैनलिस्ट में से जानना चाहें तो I would request कि वो शेयर करें हमारे साथ।
Let me show all the non-video participants as well. So पहला जो क्वेश्चन एक शेख साहब हैं, if you would like to speak up, Sheikh Haq Saab, you have some
Yes.
question or you want to add something?
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes, we can.
देखिए ये जो इश्यूज है ना आईटी इंडस्ट्री के, ये कोई यूनिक नहीं है। दिस इज समथिंग दैट ऑल इंडस्ट्रीज हैव फेस्ड डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट लोकेशंस दे आर इन एंड डिपेंडिंग ऑन द टैलेंट पूल दैट इज अवेलेबल इन द कंट्री।
True.
The struggle today, as somebody mentioned, is that the production or the number of students intake is small and the demand is significantly more, and that is resulting in the exploitation by the employees. उसके लिए challenges बहुत हैं, training है, आपने एक suggestion दिया, bonuses हैं. I don't think employees, the young boys and girls are interested in an equity stake, though that could be a very good motivation. My struggle has been that, you know, when you talk to universities, they are just not geared to what the world is around us. आपने एथिक्स की बात की, प्रोफेशनलिज्म की बात की, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट की बात की। हम अपने आप को सेल करते हैं एज ए चीप और लो कॉस्ट talent pool in to the world. But when you actually do, the productivity level is so significantly low that it is not worth hiring that low price individual. So हमने कोशिश की यूनिवर्सिटी से बात करने की। यूनिवर्सिटी ने कहा कि जी हाँ, हम आपके स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ा देते हैं या हम स्टूडेंट्स ले आते हैं, लेकिन आप उनको फीस भी दें, उनकी बोर्ड एंड लॉजिंग भी दें, और अगर 2 साल का प्रोग्राम है तो 2 साल के लिए दें। Which company can afford to do that? You know, it's a very difficult one. And second element which is critical is कि जो लोग आपने रख लिए, जैसे किसी ने काम ने ट्रेन कर दिया, अगर वो 6 महीने या साल में चले जाते हैं तो आप you can't legislate that. You will have to build in some contract issues, clauses that you may be able to make them abide to. But उनको पाकिस्तान में इन्फोर्स करना बहुत मुश्किल है। एक जमाने में लोगों ने एफिडेविट्स लिखवाए थे, गारंटियां ली थी, वो भी नहीं चला। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान गारंटियां देके नहीं चल सका। So it is a significant dilemma. Freelancing is great, but I be looking at people trying to do a verification of chip design, and I just can't find the resources. It is a struggle. So I would request this forum. आपने suggest किया कि yes, we should come up with a position paper on what to do. We cannot look at 10,000 or 5,000 people coming out every year. आप इंडिया का भी सेमीकंडक्टर का प्लान देखें, they want 20,000-30,000 students coming out every year. So where are we? So I just leave that food for thought.
नहीं, एक्सीलेंट। देखें, इंडिया में जो HR डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर काम हुआ है, हमारा यहाँ पे काम नहीं हुआ। वी आर इन एवोल्यूशन स्टेज, अभी हम ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन स्टेज में। इंडिया ने जो पॉलिसीज आज से 20 साल पहले बनाई थी, वो हमारी आज बन रही है। हमारी गवर्नमेंट में जो स्टेबिलिटी है वो नहीं आई इंडिया में आज तक, माशाल्लाह नहीं लगा। हमने इन चीज़ों को फेस किया है। लकीली हम लोग मुस्लिम कंट्री हैं, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। मुस्लिम कंट्री होने का फ़ायदा भी है और एट द सेम टाइम हमें चैलेंजेस भी हैं उसके। अब उन चैलेंजेस को हमने मिलकर रिजॉल्व करना है। आज अगर मैं बात करूं तो पाशा का क्या रोल है? पाशा जो है, दे आर बेसिकली रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दे आर द ब्रिज बिटवीन द गवर्नमेंट एंड IT इंडस्ट्री। तो पाशा को दे हैव टू स्टैंड अप, दे हैव टू कम अप एंड दे हैव टू टॉक एंड दे हैव टू टेल कि व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ रोल दे आर प्लेइंग फॉर HR डेवलपमेंट, HR रिटेंशन एंड HR मोटिवेशन, एंड एट द सेम टाइम बिल्डिंग एथिक्स विद इन एज। आप एथिक्स कंपेयर कर लें IT इंडस्ट्री के प्रोफेशनल्स के और आप दूसरी इंडस्ट्री, आपको जमीन आसमान का फर्क है। अनस साहब डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्रीज से आए हैं, मैंने डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्रीज में काम किया। सो अनस, डू वी फील एनी डिफरेंस और इज इट सेम?
नहीं, ऑफ कोर्स बहुत डिफरेंस है, बिकॉज नेसेंस में है ना। IT इंडस्ट्री यहाँ पे अभी नई है। बाकी इंडस्ट्रीज तो शेल में आई वर्क, शेल 100 साल पुरानी कंपनी है। IT कंपनीज अभी बहुत नई है। बट लेट मी एड्रेस वन थिंग दैट यू गाइज मेंशन्ड। आई पर्सनली थिंक ये लॉज एंड रूल्स से ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होगा, ठीक है। इफ एनीबडी फील्स कि हम लॉ बना देंगे, बॉन्ड साइन करवा लेंगे, उसकी एम्प्लॉय की प्रोटेक्शन के लॉज आ जाएंगे, पाशा कुछ कर लेगा, आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स गोना वर्क। वी आर इन अ फ्री मार्केट, कैपिटलिज्म में आप काम कर रहे हैं। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे एक एम्प्लॉय है, उसके पास एक डिसीजन है, ठीक है। उसको एक कंपनी है जो कि उसको बेटर बेनिफिट दे रही है, उसको ज्यादा पैसे दे रही है। इट्स हिज राइट टू चूज। व्हाई वुड ही चूज यू ओवर द अदर एम्प्लॉय? वो उनको ज्यादा पैसे दे रहे हैं, क्यों आपके पास रुके ना? दैट यू हैव टू मेक इट लुक्रेटिव। एंड व्हाट डज दैट डिटरमिन? दैट इज डिटरमिन्ड बाय सप्लाई एंड डिमांड। जैसी यू विल हैव मोर टैलेंट। क्या 90s 2000 में ये नहीं होता था? डिफरेंट कंपनीज में थे, आपके पास ग्रेजुएट भाई फिर होते थे। यही सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स, जो फर्स्ट बूम आया था जब सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग एंड हार्डवेयर इंजीनियरिंग होती थी, एवरीबडी वेंट टू डू कंप्यूटर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग। एंड देन देयर वाज अ टाइम जब वो मार्केट बिल्कुल ठप हो गई है, वो फिर रहे होते थे, उनको कोई जॉब नहीं देता था। उस वक्त एम्प्लॉयर की मार्केट थी, उनके पास 10 आर्किटेक्ट्स खड़े होते थे, उनमें से वो एक को चूज करते थे जो उनको बेस्ट लिखता था। आज वो उनको एक मिल जाए, जैसा मर्जी हो वो आके उठा लेंगे। सो आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स वर्क इन अ ओपन फ्री मार्केट। सप्लाई एंड डिमांड पे वर्क करती हैं। जैसा ही ये मैकेनिज्म चेंज होगा सप्लाई एंड डिमांड का, व्हाट वी हैव टू वर्क एज एन इंडस्ट्री इज, अच्छा ये सप्लाई एंड डिमांड को हमने बैलेंस कैसे करना है। दैट्स व्हाट वी हैव टू वर्क टुवर्ड्स। वेदर वो यूनिवर्सिटीज के साथ अफिलिएशंस हैं, वेदर वो कंपनीज खुद से बैचेस डिफरेंट उठा के उनको अकेडमीज के थ्रू ट्रेन कर रही हैं। देन देयर सर्टेन डिप्लोमा कोर्सेज, शॉर्ट कोर्सेज। बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनको आप फ्रॉम जूनियर लेवल लोअर स्किल सेट सिखा सकते हैं। हर एक को एक रॉकेट साइंसेस नहीं बनना, छोटी छोटी चीजें HTML CSS जिसके थ्रू आप उनको सिखा सकते हैं। एंड देन ऑब्वियसली देयर इज द अदर साइड, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स एलिमेंट है, उन पे आप उनकी एथिक्स एंड ग्रूमिंग वगैरह करते हैं टू मेक देम रेडी। नॉट एवरीबडी हैज टू बी रेडी। वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड जो कि रिमोट जिनको ऑफर्स आ रही है ना, दे आर द क्रीम ऑफ पाकिस्तान, उनको मिल रही है। नॉट एवरीबडी इज गेटिंग इट। लोकली जहाँ पे हमारे लोग हैं उनको हमने रेडी करना है। बेसिकली दैट्स हाउ दिस प्रॉब्लम इज गोइंग टू गेट सॉल्व। इट वोंट गेट सॉल्व थ्रू लेजिस्लेशन। दैट्स माय ओपिनियन बेसिकली।
बिल्कुल सही आपने कहा। सॉरी मैं इंटरप्ट करने लगा। एक आप, so there is an opportunity of significant training of resources external training or in-house training after they graduate. I think HEC has to play a role, Pasha has to play a role. That's, we all understand that. Just one other comment. Forgetting the political part of things. आपको, I don't know if you remember, जब इंडिया ने मैकेंजी से स्टडी कराई थी 90s में, जिसके बाद उन्होंने बनाया था, पाकिस्तान ने भी कोशिश की थी. डॉक्टर अताउर रहमान को उन्होंने कहा जी $1 million दें, पाकिस्तान में $1 million खर्चने को तैयार कोई नहीं था. So we could not even plan, and so after 20 years we are where we were in 90s. So it's not it's not a thing that we are nascent because we are just a new breed of people that have come out. It is a lot of situations that have happened in the past which we are now paying for.
True. Salman sir,
Anyways,
thank you, Sheikh sir. Salman sir, you wanted to add something?
Thank you, Mr. Wasab. Jazakallah khair. Actually, there are a lot of Anas saab ne bhi aur sabne, everybody has put in a lot of words. Asif saab ne bataya academia se we for linkages with the academia. Supply and demand का मसला नहीं है. मसला है supply of competent resources. There is a big gap in between what is being taught in the academia and what is the requirement of the market. There's a big gap. So इस gap को fill in करने के लिए हम लोग सारी चीजें बात करें और सिर्फ इसमें with all due respect कुछ drawbacks या कुछ modalities इस तरह से है. We all are HR professionals and हमारी जो requisitions आती हैं, जो requirements आती हैं, जी सानू बनना चाहिए any day. This is the time period, this is the window, this is the we are running towards actually pushing ourselves really hard towards the fact to fill this position. It's a technical requirement, it's a client's requirement. Or doing this, we forget the basic HR protocols. कि अगर Odessa से कोई आ रहा है, let me call Asif Saab. Asif Saab, what is this person's? Give me some feedback on this. Give me some experience. इस बंदे के experience letter चाहिए. एक बंदा कहता है नहीं जी वो साड़ी company के experience letter दे दी. I cannot produce an experience letter. The HR is not giving the salary certificate or the salary slip. It is not allowed. I'm not going to name organizations over here. Lekin just for the sake, top organizations, हमारा because we are Microsoft Dynamics board partner, तो हमारा Dynamics में Confiz है, systems हैं और other organizations as well. कहते हैं हमारी कंपनी वो देती नहीं है, कंपनी salary slip देती नहीं है. तो एक तो उन protocols को थोड़ा सा strong करें हम लोग और secondly the HR professionals should be connected, so well connected कि अगर मैं कंपनी में मेरी कंपनी में एक बंदा आ रहा है, if I'm hiring somebody, so I should be more than open to talk to anybody and I would be, मतलब वो जो एक factor है ना, वो जो एक traditional mentality होती है, यार इसने मेरा बंदा तोड़ लिया. It's a capitalist society. Everybody has the right to go anywhere. But the candidates should be monitoring. वो जो कहते हैं ना, गोरा मतलब I came back into Pakistan during the COVID. और सर अभी जो बात की है आप लोगों ने भी बाहर के आपको यूए के रूल्स पता है, वहां पे लोग इसलिए सीधे काम करते हैं क्योंकि उनको पता है इस कंपनी ने मेरा वीजा कैंसिल कर दिया तो अस्सलाम वालेकुम यल्ला हबीबी वो मैं पाकिस्तान डिपोर्ट हो जाऊंगा. मुझे यस सर थैंक यू आसिफ साहब फॉर सपोर्टिंग. तो वो ये चीज है, लेकिन यहाँ पे नहीं क्योंकि वी आर पाकिस्तानी नेशनल्स एंड वी आर मोर देन प्राउड, वी आर इग्नोरेंट ऑफ द फैक्ट. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये इस तरह के मैकेनिज्म्स नहीं है. यूएई में कोई ऐसा सीधे होकर काम करते हैं, अपनी सैलरी भी सही बताते हैं, लेबर डिपार्टमेंट से हर चीज मॉनिटर होती है, लेबर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स होते हैं. ठीक है, हमारे पास नहीं है वो, बट वी नीड टू हैव सर्टेन मॉनिटरिंग एंड कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म जहां पे हम लोग अपने रिसोर्सेज को, सर आप ये मॉनिटरिंग एंड कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म्स ले आएंगे ना, ये सारे गैप्स, सारी ये चीजें, सेल्फ लर्निंग लोगों में खुद दर्ज हो जाएगी. भाई हमने we have to train ourselves and we want this वो जो आपकी जो retention है, motivation है, employee turnover, all will be addressed.
Excellent, Salman sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again आपने वही बात की, legalization जो है वो अगर हमें कुछ चीज़ें improve हो जाएं तो that is very good. I think we had a very wonderful discussion. I can take only one more comment, although कि हम लोग 10 मिनट ऊपर हैं. One more comment अगर कोई देना चाहे, अरहाम, मारूफ, मेहर, चूँकि कोई हमें किसी फीमेल ने कोई कमेंट ऐड नहीं किया. अस्मा, you guys are there. So if you like to add or talk something, and then we can close this conversation. मेल साइड से बहुत कमेंट्स ऐड हुए हैं. जी मारूफ, अरहाम, मेहर, your mic can be open now. You can open your mic and you can add your value. Okay, I think okay जी, तो हम wrap up करते हैं discussion को. I'm thankful to Asif Saab for your excellent moderation. I'm thankful to Mariam for your excellent hosting, and I'm thankful to all the panel members for their excellent participation. Inshallah, see you again with our next episode soon. In the meantime, please stay in touch, stay safe, और रमजान की बरकतें enjoy करें. Thank you, Asif Saab.
Thank you very much. It was really nice talking to you, everyone. Salman साहब, खास तौर पे आपका, शेख हक साहब आपका, and Mariam, good job.
Thank you, Asif. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you, everyone. And I think now we all can leave.
Thank you जी.
Appreciate
Allah
the
Hafiz.
effort.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah